Hello and welcome to week 4 of PA212. This week we are in chapter 7 and 8, and we will be going over a little bit of, about what's on your discussion and what's in your assignment and what's in your quiz. So your discussion has to do with measuring, and that is actually in chapter 8. So why don't you turn with me to chapter 8, which looks like it starts on page 88. And there are common system of measure. There are 3 basic system of measurements that are commonly used in the pharmacy, and there are the household system, the metric system, and the apothecary system. So your discussion question is really asking which one do you prefer. So it's again an opinions-based discussion, so there's no right or wrong answer, but the wrong answer is if you don't tell me why. Tell me why you like one over the other, and then give an example of, like, if I'm measuring out for compounding and I need a tablespoon, well then I would probably use the household measurements. And let me just give you some examples of what those measurements are. The household system is the average patient would use at home. It includes teaspoons, tablespoons, cups, pints, quarts, and gallons for liquid measure, and ounces or pounds for measuring weight. The physician's order and dosage instructions may be given in the metric system and should be translated in the system of measurement when possible, so the patient can understand and use it. So this is the most common one that the patient would understand. They're not going to understand give 5 mils to your toddler. What does that mean? And then so that is your teaspoon. That would be, there are 5 mils in a teaspoon and 15 mils in a tablespoon. Just a little quick FYI so that you can learn that for the test. And then the metric system is they use in most European countries when they develop medicine, and that is in liters, milliliters, microliters, centiliters, deciliters, grams, milligrams, micrograms, kilograms. And so you've probably learned about this in your math class. And so that is probably how the physician will send it over on a prescription and how most of the bottles will be dosed. So then you'll have to make sure that you know how to change it to the household system for them to understand. And then the apothecary system, seldom used in the United States. However, a few drugs are still prescribed using the apothecary weights and volumes, and you will see these measurements on the exam. In this system, volume is measured in grams and weight in grains. And so basically, they'll give you a table on the next page, page 90, of the conversion. So what does a dram hold? There is, let me see, 4 mils in a dram. So these are things that you would probably just want to commit to memory, because it'll probably be on the test asking you how many if you have 5 drams, how many mils do you have? That kind of stuff. So make sure that you know that and commit it to memory. And so that's what your discussion question is about, is which one would you use. So make sure that you read over that going from page 89 to 90. And then it goes to talking about converting between each of them. So you might want to read over that, because actually all of your quiz is about calculations. And so it comes from chapter 7 and chapter 8, the system of measurements in chapter 7, which I'm about to go show you right now. So percentages, converting ratios, that kind of stuff. So make sure you read through that so that you're ready to answer those questions on the quiz. Again, remember, I think that you should do it without the book first, and then if you need to go back, you have plenty of time on the quiz to do that. If you come to the end of the quiz and you have ran out of time and you haven't answered any of the questions, let me know. I'll give you more time, no problem. Because you're trying to figure out all the calculations, that's not a problem to me. I can help with that. So just make sure that you email me if that happens to you. Okay, chapter 7, we're going backwards here, starts on page 76, and this is using fractions. And a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, fractions scare me. I know if you've had Miss Davis as a teacher, she has taught you to be comfortable with that. And so I am just going to tell you that this book does a really good job of walking you through to how to do a fraction, how to multiply, how to add, how to subtract. So make sure that you do that, and then using the cross multiplication, going to that algebra side of math, which is mostly when you're converting between each measurement. So that's why 7 is before 8. And knowing the Roman numerals, make sure that you do know that. One paragraph on page 84 that I want you to know is about rounding numbers. When do you round up and when do you round down? And that can be a huge problem if you forget how to do that. Anything greater than 5, we're rounding up. Anything lower than 5, we're rounding down. And so if you do the wrong rounding and you answer that on the certification exam, it's wrong. So, and sometimes they'll have both answers just to test you. So make sure that you are reading that. There's an example of that. Make sure you know how to do the rounding of the numbers. And then your assignment is 7 and 8, the odd questions. Again, I think that you should do every single one of them. It's all about calculations. See if you can do them. Just give me the answers to the odd questions so that then you are practicing for your certification exam and really getting that under your belt. I had students coming in saying, I can't do pharmacy because of the math. That is so silly. There is very, very little math, but there is math, and we try to hit it hard because the little math there is, we have to know perfectly. And so when you get it, it snaps, you get it, and you can answer most questions because there's only a few systems you have to know. So make sure that you do practice that. 7 and 8 are both for calculations usually, and so make sure that you're practicing that. Okay, so I've hit quiz, I've hit discussion, and I've hit assignment. Great. Next week is week 5, which is your midterm. Remember, there's no discussion, there's no assignment. The only thing that's due is a midterm exam. And so we will come back here on our next lecture, and I will just give a review of what is on the midterm exam. So make sure you check that out next Monday before you take your midterm exam. You'll have the whole entire week to take it. Make sure you're ready for it. You also have a week 5 survey that will be due, which we'll get into next lecture, but I just wanted to give you a heads up that you are almost halfway there. So keep up the good work, and I'll talk to you next week.